Hey Sagy, alright. Today I've got 3 stories and we've got very little time.
I don't have time for this, Cassie.
So let's get right into it. First up, a story that honestly seems like a much needed step in the right direction, at least on the surface. I'll let you get deeper into it. I am no expert, so I wanted to get your thoughts on the new exploitation metric proposed by NIST and CISA, which has been everywhere, all over. So let's look at the story. New vulnerability exploitation probability metric proposed by NIST and CISA researchers. The LEV equations can help augment KEV and EPSS-based remediation prioritization.
Right. So this is actually a very interesting story, and I just finished writing an article about it last week. So it's kind of fresh in my head. The paper, by the way, should be out in the following days. So here's the gist of it.
I get the gist.
You don't get the gist?
I get the gist of the gist.
The LEV metric, it aims to improve vulnerability remediation and prioritization. But there's a big but here. Ultimately, it adds to the complexity of an already fragmented landscape without addressing core issues in exploit predictability. First of all, LEV suffers from critical limitations, right? It depends on lagging and publicly available data.
Damn, these outdated computers just won't load.
It lacks real-time signals. It doesn't account for environmental context. And it adds another score without improving decision-making. So I think that instead of kind of creating more static metrics, the industry needs dynamic, signal-based approaches, including live exploit telemetry from deception networks. For example, dark web monitoring for adversary intent, exploit development tracking, asset-aware risk modeling, and machine learning based on post-exploitation data.
They learn themselves, right? Like that's what machine learning is.
So true progress in predicting and prioritizing vulnerability requires real-time contextual insights integrated directly into the security workflow. I hate to break this, but I say LEV metric is mostly just hype.
Oh, okay. On to the next story. And I was pretty hopeful about the second one too, but let's see if how on or off I am about it. But let's see what you think. Tenable adds third-party connectors to exposure management platform. Just a little bit more on that. Tenable 1 now pulls in data from AWS, Microsoft, and competitors to provide a holistic security view of an organization's attack surface. Now, why I feel good about this story is that, even though we compete with Tenable, they seem to be, over the past few months and maybe even longer, they seem to have been moving towards this better together direction that we at Vicarious so strongly believe in as well.
We're better together. All right? All right.
Ultimately, as vendors, we're not really serving our customers if we don't start plugging into their systems and working with their existing stack, even if some of those systems compete with us directly, indirectly, right? That's the only way we can continuously cover this wide and expanding attack surface. I know Vicarious has made major developments in that direction, including integrating with Tenable. So I thought it was cool to see a respected incumbent moving in that direction as well, integrating and collaborating with competitors to truly put the customer first and help the customers.
That's better.
So I think this is another trend that we are seeing now reaching vulnerabilities, the vulnerability scanning world. As an example, you remember how CNAPS started with runtime and started shifting left to before deployment, to the coding phase, to the testing phase, and so on. And as part of the CI/CD pipeline. And the AppSec vendors saw that and were fearing to lose, customers. And they started shifting to the right, into runtime, both trying to give their customers more solutions and increase the stickiness and satisfaction as one consolidated tool. So the next evolution, I guess, is with vulnerability scanning. Vendors are moving and scanning cloud assets as part of the offering. This is a natural progression, and it makes sense.
Yeah. That sort of makes sense.
So now the question is that now that we know more, what are we going to do about it? Detecting is easy. Fixing or patching, that's what's difficult.
So, hyper hope.
I think this is a natural progression. I mean, every company will go and get more data, and discover more assets, whether it's the network assets or the with agents, without agents, and so on. But again, they're getting more information, but they're not getting them fixed faster. They're not getting them fixed at all. They're just letting you know, hey, I found more assets, more issues. That's the idea. Got
it. Thanks, Sagy. Final story. Action1 expands vulnerability intelligence with VulnCheck NVD++ integration and new enterprise platform capability. So another integration story. Let's start with a quick overview of Action1, if you can provide that to us. I know they're an SMB favorite because they have low pricing, and I think there's like a up to 100 assets free tier. They seem to have decent reviews. I hear good feedback about them. Can you tell us more about their core offering and then quickly cover this new capability with the VulnCheck integration?
Sure. So first of all, Action1 is located in the US, Texas specifically.
Texas, that's all you Texas people can talk about. Texas!
Cloud-native patch management platform for mid-sized businesses and MSPs. They're focused on automating updates, vulnerability remediation, and endpoint visibility across Windows and macOS. Let's start with the basics. Action1 relies on scheduled scans and static CVE data for vulnerability discovery, which means they can miss emerging threats and lacks real-world context. It doesn't offer continuous or behavior-based monitoring or dynamic risk prioritization, limiting its value to proactive vulnerability management. Action1 supports patching for around 200 third-party apps, far fewer than Vicarious's 10,000 plus, even 11,000 now.
So much less.
This limited coverage may require manual updates for many tools and lacks flexibility. It lacks flexibility for custom or niche software, increasing security risks and admin efforts. So we discussed the issues with discovery of vulnerabilities and their limited patching capability. Now let's discuss how they patch. Action1 uses peer-to-peer patching to reduce bandwidth by sharing updates locally between endpoints. While that's very efficient, it can fail due to firewall or subnet issues and lacks strong fallback mechanisms, leading to potential bandwidth spikes if peers aren't available.
Are you available?
Thanks for that overview, Sagy. What can you tell us about the VulnCheck NVD++ integration? Is this also, again, kind of, like you said, point in time, looking back, not real time? What do you know about that?
So NVD and VulnCheck are used to enrich the data they already have. So imagine they're scanning, they detect a few different assets, Windows 10, Mac OSs, and so on. They go into their integration with VulnCheck or NVD, and they pull information that they know about the different CVEs that are relevant to this to these entities, okay, these assets. That's pretty much it. VulnCheck and NVD provide a lot of insights, a lot of information.
That's a lot of information.
The question is, what are they doing with this information? What type of correlation? How do they deduplicate the information? Some of the information they get from NVD or VulnCheck could be the same information. Remember, these are different databases, but they collect information from different places. That information can be duplicated.
Have vital information.
So that will actually send the admin to run across different assets and say, oh, it has this. Oh, it has the same CVE again. Okay, so which one do I take care of? So you expect the vendor to also do a lot of deduplication and not just do a lot of, false positives, false negatives, and things like that.
Amazing. Thanks, Sagy. I think there was like a theme in all the stories we covered, which is just like more, vendors are adding like more data, more integration, more KPIs, more metrics. But really the question is, what after that? Like how
do we solve the problem? How do we mitigate? How do we remediate? How do we shorten the time from to detection? And then once detected, how do we shorten the time to remediation? So what we call MTTR is a KPI, mean time to remediation.
Absolutely. Thanks, Sagy, and see you next time.